Hi, dear friends. So, let's talk about this whole context of what is a life coach and who needs a life coach. So, when you understand the whole journey of life, our entire search or our entire hunger in life is for truly looking for a true identity. What does that really mean? So the core biological imperative of a human being is preserving of the true self identity. It's a by default mechanism that we are built with, that we were born to preserve our true identity. And when each one of us is born into life, we hold this identity of I am God, right? So it's like when you look at a small child, right? Do you see how the child believes in himself, how the child believes that I rule the entire planet? And a 1 year old child can actually take the attention of an entire room of 100 people also, because as children we are very innocent and we are carrying the potency and the identity of I am God, right? And then as we are growing up through our environment, we as children are wired to learn through observation. Yeah, as children we don't learn through logic, we learn only through observation. And as we are observing our environment with the kind of treatment that we get, like if our parents screamed at us, shouted at us, if our teachers punished us, beat us up for small mistakes that we did, if mom was constantly angry with you, dad was constantly upset and angry because of the struggles that he was going through, we as a child don't have the logic to process this information of why this is going on. So we very innocently conclude that all that's going on in my outside world is happening because of me and I am creating it. And you slowly acquire an identity that the world starts giving you, or the world starts identifying you as. And by the time you're about 14 years of age, you start picking up an identity of I am dog. So basically, what has happened to you is from the God identity, now you've transitioned and you picked up a belief or an identity, what the environment gave you. And they did not give you directly, but with the way they treated you, with their point of views. And obviously, they are coming from their childhood environmental conditioning, so it's not even their fault. So here we're not talking about whose fault it is, but we're just talking about helping you identify what really happened to you and where did the distortion of identity happen. So that age of 14 to 18 is a very unpredictable age when we are already going through adolescence and we are dealing with so much more pain within ourselves. And at that time we are experiencing a loss of our true identity, right? And we're not sure who we are, so we very innocently start biomimicking and adopting our parents' identity, our mother's identity, or our father's identity, or maybe a role model. We might just pick up who we are inspired with. And by the time we are 18, we start getting integrated into our acquired identity, which is the false self. So your true self is your God self, and your false self, your acquired identity, is the ego self. And ego means ego, edging God out. So when you've edged the God out of you and you've become somebody else as a being, you get caught up in a false identity. And guess what? The rest of your life, the fight or the war between you is because deep down inside you know you are a God, but your ego, your acquired identity, the outer mask that you've adopted through your environmental conditioning, keeps telling you that no, you are a dog. And here you're trying to prove to everybody that there is a God aspect of you. So a life coach is someone who actually takes you to a journey, through a journey within, and helps you actually identify all those incidents, the traumatic experiences, the point of views, the beliefs, the values that you've picked up, to actually cement the false identity. And it's like dropping off a big cemented wall, and behind that wall is that God aspect of you. So a life coach is someone who handholds you and takes you through all the dark nights of your entire past memories, and slowly we scrape out all the dark layers that got accumulated over your God identity. And by the end of the journey, here you have this pristine, beautiful, impeccable piece of you that is a piece of God. And when you reach there, the miracle starts happening. You become the creator of your reality. You identify with your core essence. You start believing in yourself. You stop looking for validation, for approval from the outside world. And this is not coming from a space of ego or superiority. It's coming from a space of pure oneness, because when you recognize the God in you, you begin to recognize the God essence in every single soul on the planet. And you also recognize the fact that these people also have moved away from their core true identity, and they're wearing the mask of an ego identity. So the whole journey of life, my dear friends, is very, very, very simple. We were born with a certain identity, we acquired another identity. The journey of life is actually going back within and falling back in love with yourself by finding your true identity. And this journey can only happen when you actually begin to love yourself in the now, in the dog identity. Yes, it's very important to love and embrace yourself in the now for you to go backward into embracing who you actually are, your authentic self. The gap between your authentic self and your acquired self is what we call the integrity gap, inside of which we have a lot of behavior patterns, we have a lot of barriers that show up. So the journey with the life coach is basically cutting through all those barriers, those cemented walls that got built up between you, and coming back to the authentic you that you were. So, yes, and it's also about deep reprogramming of all the beliefs that you picked up. Why is it important to reprogram your core beliefs, your subconscious patterns, and your beliefs? Because your subconscious mind is the most powerful aspect of your mind, and it is managing most of your life and your decision making and your functioning in life. And when you understand that the subconscious is a very programmed device, so all the negative beliefs that you believed and you picked up innocently from your environment become your hardwired programs. And guess what? The function of your mind or your brain is to preserve identity. Which identity is your brain going to preserve? From the chemicals it gives out and from the minds and the mindset and the thoughts it gives out. Guess which identity will your brain preserve? Your brain will preserve the identity you believe is true for you. Yes, I'm repeating that. Your mind or your brain will only preserve that identity which you believe is true for you. So if you believe you are a dog, your mind is going to do everything to preserve that identity. So it's very, very important for you to reprogram your beliefs, right? Go through a journey within if you really want to change the quality of your life and upgrade your life to a much better space. Because when you reach to that identity of God, you reach to a space of oneness, you reach to a space of magic, you reach a space of creation, and that is when you become the creator of your reality. So my dear friends, what are you waiting for? Get a life coach and get your life sorted.